All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order, please. Let's stand and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, tonight we just thank you for allowing us to come together. We just ask for your guidance and your help tonight as we have this meeting. We just thank you for showing us and guiding us and leading us into this day that we're in. We ask your blessings on the mayor and the councilman and those tonight that are serving our community. We ask blessings on them in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Okay, roll call. Alden Smith.
Here.
Mike.
Here.
Robin.
Here.
Lori.
Here.
Adrian's absent tonight, she's ill. Jason.
Here.
He never reacts. I'm always trying to be interactive. He's just so safe and comfortable. So, first thing, let's review and approval of the minutes from the June 13th, 2024 meeting. It would be found under tab 4.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as prepared for June
We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the minutes from the June 13th, 2024 meeting. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Tonight, your minutes are very good, by the way.
Thank you.
They are outstanding. They're very, very detailed and very complete.
Yeah.
I like the line numbers too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes
I
it
think
easier
it's
to
easier to
refer back to.
reference things.
Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, the next thing on the agenda is the mayor's report. Wow. However, I have been asked to ask the board for approval to make a change in the agenda. That change would be to move the authorized guest speaker for Tiger Hawk up on the agenda to be prior to the mayor's report. I need a motion to do so.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second on the floor to change the agenda to allow Tiger Hawk to come next on the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no.
I'll second on that motion.
Jason.
JR, please broach.
Thank you. So, I'll give you my pitch. You ever call for tech support? Get put on hold, you can't talk to somebody? You just gotta have an answer, a question answered, right? I'm JR from Tiger Hawk. I actually employ real IT people to answer the phone. That's what we do all day. We just help people with their IT needs. Just waddles a lot in his needs. So yeah, I know that, Alex and I have met, and we've talked about different IT solutions and different things that, we see in your network. And so I wanted to just kind of say, hey, what do you guys want to do? It's up to you. I know I prepared all sorts of, I got like a book of proposals that I sent you guys, which is only gonna make things more confusing for all of us. I think the really important thing to look at is if you find one that says quote 1498 at the top right-hand corner. This quote kind of quickly lays out our basic options. We have a complete package and there's a quote for complete. Complete allows us to use all of our tools at our disposal, allows us to do some really creative things with penetration tests and dark web scanning, and it really opens us up to be able to do some things. But I want to start with what the basic stuff is, and I think this is a good place for us to start. Line number 1 on that, do you have that one?
That seems to be like the only one.
Yeah, that's the very front. Like right behind this IT planning. The very first,
No.
yeah, it's right
Oh.
over that very.
Okay, good.
Page 2.
Good, it's the only one I was gonna reference, so this is good.
No, it was.
Under section.
Above
page
9. or it should be above 9.
I'll look off mine.
Sure.
That works.
So, if you look at the very first line on this one, we call it K365, it's our advanced security suite that we install on computers and servers, things like that. We identified you guys have about 10 devices in this building, so it'd be 10 licenses of it, and it's $4.49 per license per month type deal. So I wanted to get that out in front. Also down at the bottom, line number 4 is an optional item. It's our antivirus that we've had for years. Trend Micro has been number 2 in the market for, I don't know, since about 2003. They're always number 2. Other ones come and play in the number 1 slot and then they move away. And so that's the one we've had for years. Technology is advancing, and number 1 is the new thing. It's gonna replace, number 4. The other thing on this that I wanted to show you is lines 2 and 3. Line 2 is our on-site, rate, which is at $90 an hour. You'll see our normal is 110. For non-for-profits, we do on-site and in-office work at $90 an hour. And for remote stuff, for everybody, we do it at $80 an hour. So on line number 3, I just wanted to reference that $80 an hour exists, for remote stuff. So somebody calls and says, hey, I'm having a problem with something, we remote in, we spend 15 minutes, get it straightened out, we bill you $20. It's a quarter hour kind of deal, that's how it works. We do all of our billing on the quarter hour. And then with our basic service at the end of the month, we send you an invoice that says, these are the different licenses you used, here's the different, every entry of time we put into anything shows up on the invoice, so it can be audited. And that's our basic service. What questions you guys have for me?
Well, you mentioned devices, that we have in the building. Would there be, do we have other devices like in the other offices that should be covered also?
Yeah, are we just focusing on City Hall right now?
It's up to you. We'll do it any way you want. I know, Alex and I had spoken recently about, police department and what needs to be done there. Yeah, we'll do it however you want. When it comes to our antivirus security suite, it's per device, and that can change monthly. So if you have 9 right now, and we bring 3 more on next month, and 3 more the next month, you know, those
So we're
things.
not locked in.
Not locked in at all.
Specific.
No.
Okay.
And then in 6 months, if you're like, we don't like JR anymore, then we take it all off and you get no bill for it. So there's no, I'm not locking in any kind of contract or anything like that for it.
I have a question for Alex. Alex, is it a fair question to ask how this compares to what we're currently paying?
Lot cheaper.
Can you give me a rough number, how much cheaper?
I'd like to use the word less expensive if that's
Yeah.
okay.
Well, look at how much they charge to reset a password.
Just to reset, like your password on your email was $260.
Yeah, it's
Just to
ridiculous.
reset that, and it took us 2 minutes, and we were billed $260 for that.
What about our comparable monthly cost for, the monthly cost for, the security, i.e. internet security? Malware, blah, blah, blah.
I think that's done through Meraki. I mean, I haven't had really any bill monthly from JR yet on that kind of compare, but our bill is more by ticket, so as we use them more, it goes up and up and up, and even if we have 5 tickets, it would be $5,000 if it's 200 plus a pop.
Okay.
And then Meraki is one of those that you get X amount of years to purchase the hardware.
Yeah,
And
I
after
believe
that,
it's
it's
went into the
okay.
license.
I'm not gonna belabor this any further. I have no more questions.
Okay.
Which, on the antiviruses, are they both Trend Micro or?
Nope, the top one is not as, like Kaseya, it's called Kaseya 365. Kaseya, we've been a Kaseya company for quite a few years. Do what?
I'm sorry.
Kaseya?
Yeah.
Oh, they're awesome to work with. They're great. We've been a client of theirs for quite a while. They acquired some of, things that we had, basically, which is how we got into it. Their new system is, I couldn't even tell you, I don't remember what the base of the antivirus is, whatever the main core thing that everybody's using this day. It's the same core that CloudStrike uses.
I was referring Mark to their billing practices.
What do you wanna know?
I was referring Mark to their billing practices.
Yeah, I know that's been questioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Vegas last month and it was questioned several times. But then we add our remote monitor to it. Our remote monitors allow us to see specific things that happen. So if a computer is using a lot of one resource for some reason, we can identify it very quickly. And if certain things get out of where they should be, it opens a ticket in our system immediately, saying, hey, this is something you guys need to address. Then we get into third-party patching where we can make sure we're rolling out the latest updates from whatever Java, Active Rat Reader, whatever it is. Has the antivirus ransomware detection, which is really cool. We can actually see what's happening and then roll it back. And then the big thing, which is, this is gonna be the thing that cyber insurance is gonna make sure that you have, we have EDR, endpoint detection and response. So the way an antivirus works is you go to run a program and there's a specific little hash that exists and goes into a database. And if you run a program like Microsoft Word, and it looks at the hash and looks at the database and says, the hash isn't in the database. So it must be fine, it must be good to run. You try to run a virus and it says, oh, hey, we know that that's a bad thing because this hash is in this database, we're gonna stop you from running. It's a very reactive way of handling things. EDR becomes proactive. So what it does is it says, hey, I see you're gonna open up a specific program and for some reason it's wanting to get in your My Documents and look for credit card files. Like, we're gonna stop that. That shouldn't go in there. Like, we're gonna let Microsoft Word access Word documents in your My Documents, but we're not gonna let it access highly critical things that in the operating system that it shouldn't access. So it allows us to have control over what programs can do what at that point. So it's the next level. It's the new fresh thing, basically.
So do we have something like this in place now? Is that what I heard Alex say? No, we don't.
No, so we did we went through an onboarding process to make sure we had all our ducks in a row, 2 weeks ago. And we didn't really identify an antivirus on the few computers that we looked at. We didn't see anything. You guys have a Meraki router in place right now. We're not a big fan of Meraki. I love Cisco, I don't like Meraki. That's your router, so that's what controls data coming in and leaving to the world from here. And it does have a decent little firewall built into it. We're a Unify, Ubiquity shop is what we do a lot of. And so there is a quote in there at some point, and we looked up the date, it's still 2.5 years out. The license on your Meraki is gonna expire. And it'll be, I don't know, a couple $100, $300 a year to keep it alive. If you replace the router at that point with Ubiquity that doesn't have an annual license, you're money ahead. So it's usually what we end up convincing people to do.
Since this is like, we don't have to bid this, it's like $158.20, right?
Well, we already bid it really, because when we got the other bid from, the one in Troy, and our existing provider counted as 3 bids, so. We went through that process
And
already.
it's not a contract, so
No,
it's just a service.
right?
The only contracts that we have are our NDA, saying I'm gonna give you quotes and I ask you not to turn them around to other people. We offer a discounted rate for non-for-profits. And I don't need a business, I don't need my biggest business clients to come to me and go, what's the deal here, right? Yeah, that's, and in that NDA, we're not gonna give your information to somebody else. That's our big contract that we have in place, yeah. After that, we just go, for non-for-profits, I try to keep it as simple as possible. So we just go ticket by ticket, one thing at a time. Let's get you an antivirus going. Let's figure out what's going on with Microsoft 365. At some point, I'm gonna come ask you about setting up a multi-factor authentication for your Microsoft 365 because you're gonna get compromised. Everybody does. Let's get ahead of it. Things like that.
So do we need to make a motion to go? What do we need to do next? You're just giving us information, but we're good to.
And I'm here to answer questions, whatever you wanna know.
Can you please for my benefit and perhaps others. When we're looking at quote 1498, should we be comparing anything on that quote to any of the other quotes within this package?
No, the other quote in that package is 1497, that's the other thing that's comparable. So 1497 is our complete, our Tiger Hawk Complete. It allows us to unleash all of our tools. So we're gonna be doing annual pen tests, we're gonna be doing dark web scanning, which I'll throw in a quick, if
Which
approved
quote,
by you.
1497?
Yep, 1497.
And so on 1497,
That would be the close comparative to, we have two different billing side systems. We have our basic and then we have our complete. And basic is, we just bill you per hour that you use. If you use 0 hours this month, then you get a no bill. If you use 100 hours, you get a bill for 100 hours. Whereas 1497 is our complete system where on-site, remote support, all of that is included. It is one bill every month that basically stays exactly the same. As well, along with all of our tools.
At a minimum, what do we need to consider tonight and either approve or not?
The security software would be at minimum.
1498 or 1498?
1498, sir.
So 1498 is the minimum we need to approve or
Yeah,
not
and
approve?
it'd be
tonight?
lines 1 and 2 in there, leave the optional out. I just wanted you to compare, we have two options, I like to give people options, so.
Okay. Alex, is there anything that you need to add to this so we are doing what we need to do today?
I think the antivirus going.
Is number one?
Is probably our big thing, because I
Okay,
don't
and the
think
rest of these
antivirus-
can be tabled until we have more information and we were able to ask more questions if
Yes.
needed? Okay, then so what we would need, board, is, an approval of what, line 1 and 2? Of line 1 and 2 on quote number 1498 from Tiger Hawk. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Lori has a motion from Lori. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second from Greg. We have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the quotation from Tiger Hawk Technologies for quote number 1498, line 1 and line 2. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say no. I apologize. You have a question?
You should include line 3 as well, I think.
Line 3 on that was just, I just wanted to show you what the remote, so I just wanted to make sure I had it in writing, these are what our rates are.
Right.
That way, everybody here saw it. I have a packet, and it's really nice, but he has it, and I wanted to make sure you guys all had what the rates are.
I believe it was in that first packet you guys received whenever we first started.
First one brought up, okay.
Right. Yeah. Can I answer any other questions for you guys?
Well, I need to back up. We had a motion on the floor. Did we have a second?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and I asked the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you.
Sorry, I jumped in.
Okay,
Can I answer any other questions?
I have no further
Okay.
questions. The other have?
Could we check on the other computers that we have? I know they talked about looking at the ones here, but I.
Oh,
don't know if that's-
absolutely. I think
Mhm.
they're planning on going to the police department. We have I think another, one or two we have to deal with at the water plant perhaps or something?
A couple at the gas department.
Gas department?
A couple, I think there's one in the street, and then one or two maybe.
Yeah, those, to allay your concerns, those are in the
On
plan.
Yep, okay.
We're gonna try not to skip anything because I know where you're coming from. It's the back door.
Yeah, yeah.
Is it a mix and match, Ken, so like, could we do the IEP on one city hall and the smaller package
Sure.
on others? Okay.
Sure, absolutely. We'll do it however you want.
Good start.
Yeah.
This is a good starting spot, that's what I said. I said, let's figure it out, we'll start digging in. If we go, hey, Tiger Hawk's gonna be here 3 hours a week for the next 6 months, maybe we wanna change the way we're handling it.
Yeah, the break even point's what, about 12 hours, something like that?
Something like that.
A month?
Cool. Well, Alderman and Mayor, thank you guys so much for.
Thank you for your help. We do appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on, everyone. Let's go back to the mayor's report. First thing, within, the mayor's report is Missouri Metalcraft. I don't know where to begin. I'm probably going to do something, a little out of character for me, and that is I'm not going to advocate one way or the other. Danette, would you please, do your very best to, share with the board what our current situation is? I hate to put you on the spot like that, but you got the numbers, I don't. How this happened is about roughly 2 weeks ago, we became aware that a scheduled, transfer, I'm not going into all the details, but a scheduled transfer did not occur. And I contacted, the CEO of Missouri Metalcraft and asked what the problem was. And, he had inferred that they had an issue with one of their customers in remittance of money that they were owed by one of their customers, and, the wire got, his phrase, got messed up, which really means there was no funds there for the wire to happen. And he promised that he was working on a recovery plan and get back to us in a couple of days. A couple of days went by and no one contacted us. Again, I took the lead and contacted him. That ended up into a conversation about that they had, instead of discussing the fact that they were $64,000 plus a $7,000 penalty behind, they chose to now want to discuss their concern about some meter reading errors. I advised them to please pay the amount due, that was currently due. And we were then, if later found that there were meter errors, we would give them a credit. So then they drug their feet for a couple more days and they pulled in a former employee who worked for them to review all the utility reports. And he came back and his report to them was that there's nothing wrong with their meter reading. The reason why there's a difference from one month to the other month was the actual period of time and when the meters were read, and they were satisfied. So they did not therefore immediately remit the payment. They now wanted to do what they'd done about a month and a half ago, which was talked us into allowing them to pay $18,000 per week, along with the $7,014 per week that's on the note that's in arrear, which now totals $529.
400, well,
With the
notice 400,
over $400,000. And then the amount that they would have had to pay with penalty was around 72, approximately,
for the current.
for the current.
So, yeah.
So instead of discussing that, they sent to us a schedule from Chase Bank, just like they did back when they promised to pay the $18,000 per week. And so they, on July 1st, according to this schedule, which again is only valid if the money is in the account for them to execute the scheduled transfer vis-a-vis wire, would $33,000 July 1st. And then another $30,000 the following week, and then another one for 24, 28. And so there's 4 of them scheduled, at which time he said they would now be current. It's not exactly correct, because it doesn't include the penalty. And we assume that the other separate wire for $7,018 or whatever dollars it is per week would still continue in. The only thing I have to say about this is this. If the board decides tonight, we're gonna follow our policy and we're gonna terminate your services, I only want you to be aware of one thing. If that decision is made, the notice would be sent out on Friday. We would not shut off the utilities to sometime on July 1st, the same day their first wire is supposed to be here. Now, they have promised us, and I have to tell you, my faith is not real good right now, 'cause I don't like it when these kind of things happen, is that, in August, they're going to have a method to pay the entire note off, which would be wonderful for our bottom line. However, I don't know about the veracity of their claim any longer. But I will say this, should the board choose to accept their payment plan, and should the board also choose to, along with that acceptance, tell them that if the wire is not here by close of business on Monday, July 1st, we will promptly disconnect your utilities on July 2nd. And one of the reasons why I'm bringing that up, they're not gonna get disconnected to July 1st anyway. The amount of money that we're going to potentially lose by allowing them to keep on conducting business is not gonna be really one penny more or one penny less, regardless of what decision you make tonight, because they're not getting shut off to July 1st. So it's up to this board to decide if they want to continue to take, I'm not sure what to say. I'm not sure, it's up to this board to decide if they want to continue to, allow, the city of Monroe City to provide utility services to Missouri Metal Craft.
Well, for starters, I don't think you should be the one having to reach out to them when their payment doesn't come in. They should be courteous enough, you know, we've given them a lot of grace and leniency, they should be contacting you. So if we do let them go through with this, I would tell them the plan tomorrow, but then if it doesn't come in, I wouldn't call them, I wouldn't, you know.
The only notice they would get then would be the one we post on their door.
Yeah,
That's it.
and I don't think you ought to contact them anymore in the future if they're late either. Because you shouldn't have to do that, that takes your time. If they're the ones if they're late or gonna be late, then why should we be the ones that have to reach out?
And, I mean, seems to me a pretty serious event, but I don't see them.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not even here to speak for themselves, I mean.
I will do exactly what this board directs me to relative to communications, and we will direct the utility departments to do whatever this board directs us to do. This is entirely in your hands. As I stated early at the beginning, I do not intend to continue to advocate for them, because I think like you did, why didn't they call us if they're so concerned about the continuation of their business? Why didn't, after they drew their own conclusions that the reading of the meters was correct, just go ahead and pay the damn money? I apologize for the word, but
Well, I
it's a
agree
little frustrating.
with what you said in the email, when you're in the rears like that, it's not the time to debate.
That's what I told them, yeah.
Because then it looks like you're grasping at straws.
It's this board's decision, which I will support 100% regardless of what you do, because that's my job. I'm not gonna advocate. I gave you the facts as I know them. Greg?
There's a couple of, I guess you might say, conflicting numbers in the statements. Like at one point in one of their emails, they say that the note level has been brought down from 471 to 297. And then I also hear, I think right here, that it's over 500, so that's.
Wait, for, if you take the if you take the is it 629 or 529? 629 total? Oh, look, hold on.
Where'd you see the system?
Oh, it was in something I thought that
Oh, is that, got numbers there?
I'm sorry, 529, 621, 19. It was the last number I seen, that was dated on June 20th, so it may be wrong, maybe the wrong number now. That's the total balance on their account, 529, 621, 19.
Ron,
Would that include the
was
70?
last month's bill.
That includes last month bill?
That was prior to last
Oh,
month's bill.
holy smokes.
Cause I have the delinquent account listing, and this is dated June 11th. Their delinquent amount is 471,936, and their amount due is 536,639. On this, the last payment was received on 5/24, but this is dated June 11th.
So there was a penalty that's been added.
Right.
Since, yeah.
So what do you show, what's your numbers show today as their total amount due, including the note?
I don't have the total
Okay,
here in front of me.
estimated,
It is, 540.
540.
Somewhere around there.
Ronnie, can I ask a question? Ronnie?
We have to, by the rules that we have established, I have to ask
Never mind.
the board for permission.
Oh,
If they wanna pass an ordinance to change, if they wanna pass an ordinance to change the ordinance, no problem for me. But I'm following the ordinance, and that's something I promised to do when I took office, to do it by the book.
So if she wants to ask a question, what has to happen?
If she wants to ask the question, I have to ask the board to make a motion to approve it. Someone's not on the agenda as a guest speaker. So if you want to make a motion to allow someone from, the audience here to address the board, and you can get a second, you vote on it, you pass it, allow her to come up here and talk.
Yeah.
So, I'll make a motion, we allow some public comment for this issue, it's a big,
Big deal.
I don't wanna
And you don't have to do this
I
every
just
time
wanna
it's
ask a
capped.
question.
I understand. We can
Okay, we have a
change
motion
words
on the
later,
floor, we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
There's a motion and a second on the floor to allow members from the gallery to speak to the board and address the board. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Please approach.
My question is, do we have any security at all on this debt? What happens if we turn off the electricity? What do you think is going to happen then? Do we have anything to secure $500,000?
An unqualified opinion based on what I think I understand as to their situation. They do not own the building is leased. It's questionable whether they own any of the equipment in the building, because we believe, we do not know, that it is leased from, the owners of Perry Tool and Die. So the only thing we might ever be able to attach, after going through a lot of legal humble bumble, would be attach their receivables, which apparently don't have much, or they pay their bills. I cannot repeat or should not repeat other information I've received that might cause one to question the viability of their continued operations, but I can't do that. So nothing, we're holding the bag, just like this city's done time and time and time again,
And it would seem
because
like
we
we
never
should put
enforced
our-
our utility policy. Which, by the way, this board's gonna enforce it for the next, however long, 2 years, 1 year, whatever. Yes, please.
I was just gonna ask, how long, when did that start? How long has it been?
When they came here, 2020,
Oh,
sometime in 2020. And I haven't been able to go back and find all the information, but even the note, Mr. City Attorney, even the note that was done last fall got redone, and the one that was done in November got redone in February.
yeah,
And the city,
So this note has been going on,
yes.
Ever since I got there.
If you look here, it says original, and that's what's in our.
so it seems worse, it's not getting better.
yeah, I'm sorry, what do you got on, what page are you on now?
I'm on, like, in section 5, she has the amendment to the
Okay.
promissory note.
Like Exhibit A.
Yeah, and so it says, this is dated February 1st, 2024, but the principal amount of the original note was $341,276, right?
Right.
And then, so then they amended it, probably this February 1, and the new amount is $471,072. So I haven't looked at this amortization or any of that, or how that works, but, I don't know when that,
And that's just to catch them up what they're in arrears.
I
That's,
think, and
The
there are.
current is what wasn't paid this week.
Yeah.
If they had paid the
Right.
current 64 plus the penalty of 7, whatever it is, it's like 72,000.
It's their current is what they're behind on.
That's what's causing us to shut them off. They've been making the payments,
on their arrears.
is that correct? On the arrear, on the note, they've been making the payment on the note. It's a wire transfer of about $7,014 every week.
So they're,
And
To
they,
total the 28,074.
Yeah. yeah, and they had, the one that we got this week is actually a couple days late, but they did make it. Is that right? So I'm going to ask a question, has all of the board members read, the letter from Missouri Metal Craft?
The email,
It was, so there's a letter that, yes, the letter from him, asking the board to consider these things.
it was an email, right?
It was an email.
Email,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
If we do go ahead and say they have until the first, I'd make it quite clear that any flub ups on their proposed plan at all, we won't be contacting them. If they're late, it'll just be shut off with no discussion.
Is it,
Well, we gotta give them the notice under our ordinance, but yeah. no
Right.
calls.
Be direct notice,
Yeah.
Put it on the door.
And we're not gonna sit up here and discuss.
I think
Yeah.
what.
I mean, I guess to that point though, we would not need another decision to shut them off, right? I mean, if we just follow our current policies, they don't pay, they can go shut it off, and you don't have to have a
Correct.
special council meeting or anything. to say,
Correct.
"Oh, we're
It's-
shutting
They're
it
just
off."
gonna have to
tonight-
pay the bills like all the rest of us do.
Tonight's really.
Tonight's really about us deciding to extend it if we do or
That's
not.
what you're doing tonight. You're deciding to allow this to continue to
To the-
Monday,
to the
basically what
first.
you're doing.
Yeah.
And what I attempted to communicate earlier is if you do nothing, they still don't get shut down until sometime Monday. So what you're really saying is we'll take a chance.
We'll extend 12 hours, or 24 hours.
Yeah.
I guess I'm of the deal, like, I'm of the mind to make it official and say, I'll make a motion that we approve a delay in their deal until July first, pending their payment of their deal, and.
And if we don't get it,
Don't
if
get
we don't get it,
then we'll
the
follow.
next
our
day
utility
we'll follow
policy.
through with our policy.
Yes, and no more further amendments to their,
And, yeah, no back and forth emails either.
Yeah. it's just.
Done.
Because
Who,
I mean, they're a big employer, we have, and it's, the note's not gonna get paid back if we shut them off and then they go out of business.
can't
But
argue.
it doesn't sound like they're making progress in that direction anyway, the best way, I mean, it's cause it sounds, we were behind 300,000, now we're behind
Yeah.
500,000.
And
So it
he,
doesn't, and.
everything
you
he
know,
says is true. Everything he says is true. And I know you just made a motion, but I wanna say something. They have reiterated multiple times over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, that they have a plan in place to pay off the note in August. Where's the proof?
Yeah, I'd like some more.
I'm only sharing the information that I have available for you, for your consideration. I think the questions you asked is a very fair question. I'm unaware of any proof, just like I'm also disappointed in the fact that we did receive a document that had all the scheduled wire transfers for the $18,000 payment plan. And obviously, that is worth no more than the paper it's printed on. So I'm very well aware, and again, I stick by my guns, I'm not advocating you do anything, I'm only trying to give you all the information I think that you would want to have in order to make your decision. But we have a motion on the floor from Alderman Smith to allow them to continue through July 1st. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and we have a second to allow Missouri Metalcraft to continue operations through July 1st, contingent upon receiving the wire transfer on July 1st. And if we do not receive that wire transfer, we will proceed with the implementation of our current ordinance.
But they're getting the notice tomorrow.
Excuse me?
They're getting the notice tomorrow regardless, that's how I understood the motion, is
Well,
that right?
he basically just said, we're going to extend
Okay.
To July.
to
So
July
we do
1st.
But I thought they got the notice tomorrow, cut off July 2nd instead of the 1st, that's how I understood it. But maybe-
How do you wanna do it?
We could do that. I could get a notice prepared and they could deliver it tomorrow and it'll have the information on cutoff for Monday.
Do we need to contact him?
For chief.
We need to contact the CEO by email, tell him that's what occurred. I promised him that the utility clerk would contact him with the decision of the board on Friday morning.
It's fine.
We'll post
I
it
think-
tomorrow and then.
Dollar amount.
I think
should be
that
in the
makes
motion.
sense, that, yeah, we posted, because that still leaves in time to July
That
first.
will allow us to.
Yeah, that's all I'm basically saying, we'll make it official as a council that we're we're gonna follow our utility policy of.
Do I need to restate all that?
Probably. So,
I'm not sure I know how. Okay, we have a motion on the floor.
can we talk this out just a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, I'm agreeing with what you're saying. We're saying if the payment is not received by or on the close of business day, July 1, then we'll disconnect on July 2nd. Because you have to.
Yeah, that's.
We have to give 24 hours notice.
You
I
said
guess
this-
payment,
That's how I understand it.
payment
So
of
you're gonna
extra-
go ahead and produce the notice.
Yes.
Send the notice is gonna have somewhere written on it, something, what's gonna happen.
Dates, times will all be on.
Yeah,
it.
because-
Okay,
they're gonna
you'll
pay
contact,
first.
or I will contact the CEO tomorrow morning, and we will
We can
send,
include the disconnect
we can
notice.
include disconnect notice, and we can include a paragraph explaining what it means, so it's very clear, and then that's it.
And then maybe put in there too, that there's gonna be no further altercations or amendments to their payment plan.
I wanna make, if we're gonna make the motion, I wanna make sure we're clear, because one of his emails promised 32 grand on July 1st. So is that the amount due, or is it the 71? Cause we need to make that clear.
We're agreeing to take what he's got
The
scheduled
32,
for
Yeah,
water.
that's, I wanna agree to
Okay.
take
Well,
this
let's-
payment plan as long as this payment plan remains current.
We will make sure
That's why
he's
let's put
aware.
that dollar amount in the motion,
Yeah,
so that they don't, come back and make a $2,000 payment, so, well, we paid you.
Okay,
I mean, cause they seem to,
Do I have that dollar figure?
Yeah, it's in these emails, on the third page of the email.
I don't have it.
So it looks like we're saying all payments will be July 1st, 32,351, 8/8, 32,351, 15, right? Is that the ones we're going by? 28,083, 22nd, 28,083.
And just to clarify, what's their current monthly usage roughly?
water.
Yeah, but their current monthly, how much are they using new each month? The new bill?
I think it was in this email someplace.
it's been going up.
it's around 60 a month.
Yeah, I think that's
Right.
It used to be
This was
closer to
for
80,
last month's bill.
and then it dropped down to like the 52 to 62 range approximately.
Okay, and so, and yeah, this covers their normal usage plus the catch-ups with, yeah, that's kind of what I was just want to clarify.
I'm gonna have-
Okay, so with all confusion, should I restate the motion or should we send it?
I encourage you to do so.
Okay, so basically, I'll make a motion that we accept, this payment plan as outlined in their deal of the, and we can put the numbers down, 32,351 on July 1st, and it's got the, and Lori's already stated the other payments on as dates. And, that, we will proceed with our normal utility policy, if, any of those payments are missed.
With an extension to July 2nd for cutoff,
For the
because the
cutoff.
first would have been the cutoff.
First within cut off, yeah. And so then she can put the notice out, for them, if need be, and, we'll have a, and, cause as the mayor stated, there's really not,
there's nothing to lose.
there's not really anything to lose between that, and it makes it official what we're at so far, to say this is, we'll accept this.
I'll second Greg's motion.
Now, I need to do something here. Bear with me 1 second, please.
Okay, well, we got a motion and a second, so.
Well, I'm required to say
Say
it.
it.
So I.
You gotta read all the numbers.
It's a lot for me to try to remember, especially at my advanced age. And I'm going to write this down. Okay, so it's, to start, I'm writing it down, so help me out. Accept the, Missouri Middle Craft Payment Plan and to receive payment of $32,351.57 no later than close of business July 1st. Failure to do so will result in termination of services July 2nd. Is that what you said?
Do we wanna, I don't know if I'm beating a horse here, but do we wanna put something in there to make sure they're still doing the 7,000 as well?
That's a separate contract,
Okay.
and if they default on that,
Then we can just.
we
go
get to
to
have another one of
policy.
these. No? That was a
I mean, we
question, that was a
just-
question, that wasn't a statement.
Yeah,
John, what happens if they default on the note?
well, they're current on the note now, is that what I heard?
Yeah, then they're, because it says they
Then,
could
then we don't
disconnect
need
it.
to discuss it.
No.
Okay. I will accept a motion from a board member to accept the payment plan, to accept the Missouri Metalcraft payment plan. And we must receive payment of $32,351.57 no later than close of business July 1st. Failure to do so will result in termination of services July 2nd. Do we have to say anything about the next 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever payments? Okay, good enough. I'll entertain a motion.
We got it, great measure,
We have a motion from Mr. Smith,
I second.
and we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries. Any further questions? We have within our packet a, document that we received from, DTMC. I sent to the city attorney. He did have, a concern about the wording on page 3, of this document. On page 3, line number 4, receive financial and in-kind support from the city government.
What page are we on?
Page 3,
Keep
DTMC.
on going behind that, the promissory note there in section 5.
Ah, page 3 of that.
I discussed this with, the city attorney, Mr. Russell. He had some concern about it. I contacted, Debbie Kendrick, and we discussed this, and she brought to my attention that on page number 5, wherein the mayor would sign this document, the wording is, while not bound by this letter of agreement, I acknowledge the requirements set forth by the Missouri Main Street program with the local Main Street program. So, at this time, I'd like to ask Debbie to step forth and explain why we should do this as quickly as she possibly can. I know everyone wants to go hear the debate.
And
Right?
guess what? It's not asking for money and DTMC doesn't owe y'all money, so this one's painless. So, in 2017, DTMC was formed through the association with Monroe City. Monroe City paid the first $9,600, $96,00 to help DTMC become a Main Street program. This is a yearly agreement that we as DTMC signs with Missouri Main Street program. It does not ask for financial support from the city. We, at the present time, do not have a contract for services with the city of Monroe. We are not asking for anything from the city, except for the mayor's acknowledgement that we in fact exist here, are doing business as a 501c3 for this community. Yes, it does say that we may ask for like-kind services, we may ask for financial support. We're not. like-kind services for us. We borrowed the picnic table for the May market. We use a tiny bit of electricity for our vendors. We use the barricades to make things safe for the community during our events. But we're not asking for anything here. We just have to sign this so that we, as DTMC, are in compliance with the Missouri Main Street program. That's as simple as it gets.
And in addition, I just thought of something while you were talking, I am on BTMC,
So
so
she's
I'm
gonna
gonna abstain from whatever
anyways.
said, but I will say that we have achieved this affiliate status with them, so there's different
It's a big deal.
levels within the Main Street program, and we have achieved the affiliate status. The next above us would be the highest is accredited, but,
We're
so,
not trying right now.
yeah, but the affiliate status is just kind of a, we've done certain things along the way to move us from the beginning status to the median, so.
And that does give us a little bit more marketing from them, a little bit more recognition. They have a website, they share that website with other communities. And people occasionally want to come here and see what's Monroe City all about. And so any marketing we get can't hurt this community because it brings foot traffic. But again, this is nothing, firm with this council. If we want funds, we will come and ask you for a contract for services. This just says, we're still gonna be doing business right here in Monroe City as DTMC.
All right, so what I would like to have is a motion from, I want the board to tell me to sign it. So I need a motion from the board to authorize me to sign this document with DTMC. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion to authorize the mayor to sign the downtown Monroe City Main Street Program agreement.
No, second.
We have a motion second on the floor to allow the mayor to sign the document for DTMC. All in favor, please say aye.
And I'll
All
probably need to be noted as
Abstaining.
Okay.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries.
May I have your signature, sir, please?
Take one on this one.
Yeah, because I've already signed it. And then I can send it in tomorrow, and I'll bring y'all a copy before we send it in. Thank you all, council. Appreciate
I
it.
think you guys do a good job, I like it.
Thank you. Kind of fun,
See, that was
isn't it, though? That was.
All right, next thing on the agenda, and I promise I'll do my best to get through this quickly. What you have in here is it says United Systems Fire Alarm Control Panel. Quickly, when Bernard was here to do the elevator service, because our fire alarm panel for the building interfaces with the elevator, they noticed there was an issue and brought it to our attention. They contacted a vendor that they've worked with in the past to provide a quote for the fire control panel for City Hall. The fire control panel merely communicates with the elevator. I'm not gonna go through the long drawn explanation of how, but I had Mr. Barton, the fire marshal inspector for the state of Missouri, come over and take a look at it. He said, yes, it needs to be replaced. And oh, by the way, I don't see your operating certificate for operating this elevator, and I don't see your, where you are doing your monthly check on the elevator. I'm not gonna go into all the details, I will if you want. And I said, wonderful. He explained what those were. He said, also, I don't have, the inspection report on your fire control system for 2024. I said, oh, wonderful. And he says, I asked him, I said, well, how does this normally get handled? Doesn't matter, it didn't get done. So, we need to get our fire panel replaced. This is a very specialized, situation. I can't just go out and find 3 random companies to do this. What we have within this proposal is, United will come over here, they will remove what we have, they will connect the new panel, they will connect it to all of our existing smoke alarms, et cetera, et cetera. They will test it, they will make sure it operates properly, and they will provide the inspection report that we can send to the fire marshal's office for our fire control panel, will be good for 2024. And it's for a cost of $3,660.69, which, based on everything they've gotta do to do this, I'm actually thinking there ought to be another page, but, I'm gonna ask the board to please consider approving this quotation for $3,660.69 to United Citizens, so we can have them come repair our fire panel, because if we don't, and right now it's alarming out, it has a fall, we need to do what we need to do to make sure that our building's safe. So I consider this a safety issue.
Boy, barely got time on that price too. That price expires tomorrow.
It looks low to me, but I'm not gonna argue with them over it.
Especially with replacing all the smokes and
Well, they're not replacing smoke, but what they're gonna, they have to reconnect all the wiring through the panel.
there's 6 of them on here.
Oh, okay.
Cause they only have a 10-year lifespan.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Well, they're not replacing the smoke alarms, let's make sure we understand that, they're just replacing the panel, and they're going to rewire the panel to all the existing devices that are used for fire detection. They'll test it, verify it, they'll do the documentation, give us the inspection report that we give to the fire marshal's office, will be good for that portion, plus we'll have the panel repaired and its communication to the elevator. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the quote from United Systems. We have a motion on the floor to approve the quote, United Systems for $3,660.69. Need a second?
I'll say it.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, please say no. Motion carries. Thank you. That completes the mayor's report. Next thing on the agenda is city clerk's report.
This was a fast 2 weeks, it seemed like, last council meeting, I didn't really have too much to report on. The general fund, account balance is $1,500,354.95. And the sweep account balance is $466,448.08, and that was as of 6/25. We still have money in our construction, fund. That is not money available at this time. It is for us to set up another fund according to USDA guidelines for the program. We do have our office staff starting next week. Both of them will be here on Monday, and looking forward to it. It's gonna be so nice to have extra help. This past weekend, Phoebe, has been helping on and off, and she did work the drive-through dog clinic for rabies vaccinations, and we sold a few. I don't know if this is anything that's ever been brought up before, but we lose money annually on dog tags. I don't know if that's anything y'all want to continue. I don't know how well it's enforced. I don't know much about it. So last year we sold 33 tags all year. Just something to think about. I don't know.
They get them at the vet clinic when they get their dogs.
The vet will give the tag saying they've had their vaccinations, but the city requires them to be registered with the city after they've had their
It's an ordinance.
vaccinations, and it's $5 a tag for each dog.
What's the,
You got
Did I just miss something?
Why? Why do you register your dog?
what's the goal of doing that, Zach?
I think the purpose was if it ever got impounded, then they had the tag on, they
They
could
know whose it is.
trace back to where
And there
it
wasn't a
belongs,
fee.
but
Go to town.
That, and then we also know the dog has actually been vaccinated for certain illnesses that we would have to otherwise put them in the dog pound and do quarantine on. So instead of us having to take the dog in and do the quarantine, they can do it
that's
on.
something y'all wanna change.
So it
We
helps
already
out
have the dog
there.
tags for this year, so we don't wanna do anything this year for sure. So I just wanted to.
You know, when you have a slow meeting and nothing's going on, let's look at that ordinance.
Okay, so make a motion to table it, and we'll move on.
I did get an email from Jackie, she's gone through all the bank statements. She's provided a very detailed, spreadsheet, and we plan on meeting up next week, all, deciding figuring out how things go with the new help and everything, so we'll see how that goes.
I have to ask a question. How far did she get in that time frame that we were remiss in, where their bank records hadn't been reconciled? How many months did she get done?
I gave her statements up to April.
Okay,
And that's what she
of
has.
April of what year?
24.
Oh, my gosh.
So she's reconciled all of that.
Well, she's got figured out what is in our system. I think she's got figured out what we need to put into our system versus, because a lot of it was outstanding and then nothing is in our system yet. So we're just.
Or maybe to the point of like data entry.
Yeah.
You mentioned something really briefly about G-Works training. I know it's between us, but you wanna bring it up, or?
With the new hires coming on board, I'm gonna look into G-Works, which is our software for utilities, possibly offering some webinars, some type of training on utility billing right now, because that was our focus for the customers and all of our customer service, that's where everything pretty much goes to for right now, so.
Well, I think it'd be a good idea, especially since we're using a new system and we've got new people, so I'm sure, and I know a lot of people might have questions about the new utility and stuff too, so. So far, so far the sign up, at least for us, went pretty easily.
That's good.
Annette, can you explain to me what we use the sweep account for? Because wasn't it last year, or last month, the balance close to 700?
That sweep account is used to replenish our general fund. Our general fund will stay at a certain balance.
Okay.
If it gets over that, then they
Sweep it up.
move it to the sweep.
And vice versa, which you can see
Vice
is,
versa, not happening is.
yeah. Look, we're gonna be having some discussions at probably the next board meeting. I'm not gonna get into it, but it's gonna be, able to provide a little more information, not about 2023, or 2024, but what we're gonna be able to put together for, 2021, like 2020, 2021, and, we'll be able to have some information presented to the board that's factual, in nature relative to the individual enterprise fund. That's usually not go any further than that, because I don't have all the data in front of me, but, there's some things that we're gonna have to look at relative to, that very issue right there. I have spoken to some of the individual board members about some of the observations we've made, but let's go ahead and move on.
Thank
I got a
you.
couple more things real quick.
Let's go ahead.
I found where there was a deposit made just at the bank, but not put in our system, and it was for over $300,000. That was in January, and that was for our tax revenue. I met with the bank today to verify that's what it was. I was 99.9% certain that's what it was, so I will be able to get that into our system, and we will have that tax revenue in there for the library and for the general fund. And then somewhere down the road, we're gonna have to start having budget meetings too. for our budget, so.
Was that an ACH, is why we didn't actually see it?
No, just something that wasn't done.
You got deposited but not recorded?
Yes.
So it was included in the balances that
The what?
when you gave the balances, that number was included.
It's included,
Yeah.
it's in our account.
Yes.
Yes.
Listen, if you look at that, she actually printed off the
Yeah.
balance, I mean, yeah.
Real quick, we have, 40, what, we sent to Eaton that they're supposed to return, 42, 43, something like that. And then we're expecting about 160 back from the County Line Road project, so there's $200,000 roughly that we can get back into the sweep account. And I'm done, I'm sorry, anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, next on the agenda is the city attorney's report.
Nothing big to add. A lot of the issues the mayor brought up, he and I have been discussing over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any secret to you all that the fire issue is gonna be a big one coming down the pipe. But we'll talk more about that later. Hopefully they get their bond passed, but we've been the mayor and I have been talking a lot about that as well, so.
We have a plan, we'll have to present the plan at some point in time to you guys to approve, we have a plan.
But that's all I've got.
Okay, next thing we've already, managed the authorized guest speakers. Next on the agenda will be, the committee reports, first, planning and zoning, planning and zoning. Next on the agenda is Parks and Cemetery. Hello, Steve. Be careful, it'll throw you.
So, I'm here again to request permission to proceed, but one thing that I wanna mention that I'm not sure has been mentioned, I don't see this big issue, is that the installation of this equipment is the city's responsibility. If you wanna add $48,000 to it, then they'll do it, but I think we can do it cheaper than $48,000. And I don't know if I mentioned that at the last time I was here, I wanna make sure it's mentioned. Some of you have met with some of the committee, asked some questions, and I'm here to, apologize about the confusion of that meeting for my part. So I'm here to answer questions, if anyone has any, about the North Park Playground program.
We met.
Yeah, we met, we didn't have a quorum because we didn't have the full notice, but we did meet a little bit with a few of us Tuesday and got some background from the original project people. Then we had a regular Parks Board meeting on Wednesday. Couple of things with it is that they have this project, it is, partially covered by a grant, but there would be some, city money involved. It has been approved before from the board, from their other agreements, but basically they're kind of just wanting, how that goes, you guys propose to proceed. It would not be immediate money, from the city because the project, basically they're just proceeding along and they start doing it. And I think we looked at most of it will be probably next year.
Well, it has to be done within 2 years.
In 2 years of time frame of dealing, so there'd be some, I think that was one of the concern of a lot of council members is that, our current budget paperwork is in a mess. That's no surprise, or it's no secret right now. So kind of reluctant to do anything with the current, funding stuff. And then the other thing is that basically the project is using the, statutory, the sales tax for the parks. So it's another thing where it's like, it's, essentially an allocated fund, for the parks and not like general fund. So there's, we have some, basically it's legally allocated to that anyway, so despite our other budget issues, we really can't allocate it to other budget spending.
I guess one other thing we would need to know is who would be the project manager, and at the, Zoom meeting that we're supposed to have on July 9th, we have to know that by then, and that person is supposed to be present, and whoever handles the money is supposed to be present for that Zoom meeting on July 9th.
So for like project manager, what would be the,
I wish,
like,
I thought Mary was gonna be here tonight because she's the one that, she sent me an email one day this week, did you get it too?
I don't think I did, but I don't wanna swear to it.
She was, and I told her to talk to you, because
Okay.
And there's another question that you brought up at one of our meetings about, I don't remember whether it was a project manager or you were concerned about who would oversee this.
Yes,
If you come to a conclusion on,
none. I'm looking for recommendations from the committee.
When we met with, at our unofficial meeting, did they mention that was Kevin O'Brien involved in the?
Yes,
He was.
Yes.
Right, when they,
yes, they did.
Kevin
they
was,
did the original plans that they submitted for the grant.
Kevin was also involved in coming up with some of the costs for
Yeah.
like site work and parking and sidewalks and fencing.
I got the impression that it might be
You
a
know,
potential project.
In spite of having a board or not, it's a committee, and the purpose of the committee is to make a report to the full board. You're both board members, you're free to say anything you want to say about what you all discuss, so you don't have to worry about having voted on a recommendation from the board. Because you are board members and there wasn't a quorum, you still need to get this managed. What we need to do is for the board to decide who that's currently an employee of the city of Monroe City, they would designate as the project manager. And then you would need to designate who, it's a current employee of the city of Monroe City, would be the individual in charge of, I'll simplify it, maintaining the books relative to the spending.
It would seem logical to me that Kevin O'Brien would be the project manager. Typically, the project manager is just on site, you know, they make sure things are getting done, project's moving, order, whatever, help order materials, and typically the city clerk would be the
Now,
financial person.
I agree with everything you said. Would it be inappropriate to suggest that we need to make a decision whether we're going to move forward with the project or not?
I would, in my opinion, we have 2 years to complete the project. The project doesn't look like it is extremely labor intensive. I mean, you've got some site work to do, sidewalks.
I'm sorry, I apologize, go ahead.
Side work, sidewalks.
Yeah.
Bathroom, house.
I think most all of it can be done by city employees, except for, we probably would have to at some point bid out the bathroom.
Right.
And like the cost, well, here it is.
And based on our sales tax revenues, wherever we're at the budget over the next 2 years, that excess sales tax revenue should cover.
The 2-year outlay.
The 2-year outlay, right.
Basically, it's what we ended up at the end of that committee meeting was your 2-year sales tax collections should pay for
The
the
city's-
2-year outlay of money.
The city's.
To delay it from moving forward, I don't think is right for us to do, in my opinion.
And if we say yes, we're not committing to a dollar amount, right?
Well, there is a dollar amount in the, yes, we are committing to a dollar amount, if we say yes, we're proceeding. Although, part of what it was in there was in kind, numbers.
The total project in the beginning was $413,000. But in the last 2 years, the cost of the equipment has gone from $238,000 to $264,000. And so there is that issue. But I agree with Ms. Quinn.
So
and
what-
the rest of you is,
Do you recall how much of the total cost was being covered by grants?
50-50.
It was 50-50. Do you know how much of the 50-50 that would be the city's responsibility can be accomplished with internal labor, in other words, in kind versus cash?
I have to sit down.
Just throw a number at it. I'm not gonna hold you to it, can't.
So at that time, Kevin estimated, and this is gonna be short, he
Fine.
estimated parking and sidewalks, materials and labor at like $10,000. Site work, he estimated at $8,000. Fencing, $17,000. That was in materials and labor. Bathroom, that materials and labor was $50,000. And then I assume, since they gave us an estimate for, them installing the equipment of 48,000, that could be our in-kind contribution as well.
What I was looking at to see how that compared to what even 1 year's revenue should be from the sales tax, and 1 year would cover it on the cash side, correct?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. So I think what, the Parks and Cemetery Board would like to hear from this board is a motion that indicates we're going to move forward.
I'll make the motion that we move forward with this project, or authorize Park Board to move forward with this project.
We have a motion before we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second to move forward with the North Park Improvement Plan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Okay, you have a commitment.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being patient.
Thank you, Steve, for being so,
Thank you for being
for sticking with it. He has stick-to-itiveness.
Yes.
So the other thing I wanna remind you of is that on July 9th,
Yes.
probably you, and Kevin
Yeah.
will need to be available, and I don't know the time of that yet. Mary Kendrick probably knows that.
Yeah, I think that it would be the intention of the board, well, let me rephrase that. I think the board should make a motion, to appoint Kevin O'Brien as the project manager. And I think that the board should make a motion to appoint the city clerk's office for the financial, what would you call it? Financial oversight. So if someone would,
I'll make a motion that we appoint Kevin O'Brien as the project manager and the clerk's office as the financial overseer for this project.
okay, we have a motion on the floor to appoint Kevin O'Brien as the project manager for the North Park Improvement Program and the city clerk's office, for financial oversight of the program. All in favor say aye.
Second.
You need a second.
I'm sorry, do we have a second? Look, we have a second from Woody. So we have a motion and a second on the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
No, all opposed, please say no. The motion carries. Thank you. I apologize for that. Anything from administration? Anything from the Nuisance Review Board Public Safety Committee?
Skip our economic development when you go back to that.
Okay. We need to go back to economic.
Economic
We
development.
need to go back.
Well, you just skipped it, you went
I
Parks and
did?
Cemetery and then administrative, so.
Well, darn it. Regressing, economic development.
Had a meeting this past Monday and, made some progress. You don't have to see the minutes in the packet, but I think, had you submitted the notes for the minutes?
Oh, that's my fault.
Okay.
I totally forgot.
I feel a lot better now, thank you.
No, whatever.
I'd like to make a motion to, explore the economic development sales tax initiative, as well as have the appropriate ordinances required drafted.
We have,
Can you repeat
we should
that?
put that in writing.
Make a motion to explore the economic development sales tax initiative, as well as to have the appropriate ordinances requirements drafted.
We have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I second that.
We have a second. Would you please repeat that?
Make a motion to explore the economic development sales tax initiative, as well as to have the appropriate ordinances requirements drafted.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed?
Who was the question? I second.
I thought you seconded it. Okay. We have a motion with a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Motion carries.
Do we have one quick question?
Please.
Basically, we've made a motion, they're looking into this and they'll draw the details that we will vote on.
And then we'll have to vote on each one of those individually.
We're just asking to progress.
It's a step in the, one of many steps in the process.
Is it a half cent sales tax?
That's what we would like to investigate a little more.
It looks like it would be very beneficial to the city. It would, provide the funds to, do some research work towards economic development. It also reduce the cost, and move that to a tax-funded mechanism versus coming from, general revenue. So it would have to be a big benefit for the city, as a whole. And I certainly, advocate for it and encourage it. Anything else from economic development?
No.
Okay, moving right along. There was nothing from nuisance review or public safety, correct? Okay, department reports first. Police department report, please.
I do have a few things. First, our lens locks body cameras are finally in. They're operational, everything's good, reasonable. We actually found out after we got them, there are a bunch of services we will get from them that actually weren't even in the quote. So that's a plus as well. And all of those extras are free of charge. Officer Radelphs, he did graduate, towards the top of his class, did very good throughout the academy. He is now in FTO, has been for 2 weeks now. And he will have roughly 8 weeks more on the FTO process before he's released out on road on his own. The third thing is 4th of July ordinance. Right now, the ordinance we have says no fireworks even on the 4th. In the past, it has always been done, the verbal amendment to that ordinance to allow fireworks on the 4th. Sometimes including the weekend after, the weekend before. However you all want to decide to do it, I'm fine with it, we'll enforce it, but that's always been the 4th.
I'm confused. I read an ordinance this week that said that fireworks were authorized from June 28th, June 27th to July 8th, between certain hours. Huh?
It says
Or was
sales.
that sales?
That should be sales. I'm just talking about firing off.
Discharging.
It was, I swear it was discharge. I'll look tomorrow, but whatever you wanna do, chief.
No, like I said, that's always come down to the board, whether or not, what was that?
Sales. It's already an ordinance.
This is fireworks.
Oh, I thought there was fireworks, okay.
Huh?
She's looking at something else.
You know, I mean, is there a new one that is in?
That's what I'm looking at, because I can't remember.
You'll have to, this is one that has been altered a few times. Seems like every administration's come through has a different idea.
We had this discussion, Don, you and I, because the discussion coming from you was, if we change it, and the reason why it was changed is unenforceable.
Well, yeah, it's hard.
Okay.
It's hard to enforce it, and in general, you know, culturally, I think it's somewhat acceptable, you know, it's
Oh,
July
yeah,
the
well,
4th, you know,
It's hard to stop.
do it.
The
And,
one that I read had time limit on it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
After
thing, is when
10
you do it at
o'clock
2
or
o'clock in
something.
the morning, that gets all.
Typically, every time we've ever built, it's 11 o'clock.
I read it online, on Winnicode. Oh, well, we do what we need to do. Are you-
Here we go.
Did I get it wrong? That's fine if I did. We just fix it.
Is unlawful for any reason to shoot, except between, is unlawful, except between June 27th and July 7th each year.
10 to 10.
And then, yeah, and then it's 10 AM to, no, wait a minute.
At 7,
Yeah, 10 to 10, and on.
10 to 10, and
10
on
to
July
10,
4th. it
On the
goes to
4th
midnight.
until midnight, okay.
I think the current ordinance is, this
they're good to go.
We'll go with that then.
Stand there.
it is a big time span, but as you said, I didn't hear it go off, so, you know,
I would like to throw out that last week, our canine officer, did assist with locating a kidnapped child from Indiana. He was the initial officer that actually located that that vehicle and the, victim out on Highway 36 after he got the information. And it did result in the recovery of the kidnapped person, in Macon. And that was also with the help of Shelbina PD, Missouri State Highway Patrol. And then the last thing I would like to talk about is I've heard a bunch of rumors going around from multiple people, including this being asked of people at City Hall as well. It is about our canine officers take-home vehicle. This is something that was approved in the last council. But I would like to say this seems to be the big point, is everybody is upset that we're paying for his fuel back and forth from here to his home. That is not what is happening. He fills up his car on the city account at the end of his shift. He drives home, drives back next morning. He refills the car on his own dime. So all of the gas to and from is being paid for by the officer, not by the city. Also, we've got people questioning why we are doing any kind of calls outside of the city. First off, if it's in our area, it's going to affect the crime and the narcotics activity in our town. 100%, doesn't matter whether it's from Chobina, Paris, Palmyra, Hannibal, New London. If they're that close, it is going to affect what we have going on here. The second thing is we can't be reimbursed for those mutual aid calls. At this point, we're just trying to figure out what our average is that we are having to spend on these calls as far as fuel goes. We're gonna set a flat rate there, and then however long the officer is there, they will have to do the prorate on his pay, and that's what they will be asked to reimburse us. The other reason the vehicle has to go home is because it has to have a vehicle to respond. If we were to allow him to go POV to assist and not be in a emergency vehicle, the city is very liable for a lot of money at that point. Also, I'd like to point out at this point, the handler buys all the food, buys all the reward toys, all of the equipment. Most of the equipment for inside his patrol car, most of the equipment to operate the dog. He does all that personally out of his own pocket. And this dog was $12,000 just for the dog. He's received around $25,000 worth of training, all donated, all for free. And we're getting approximately up to $10,000 of additional training yearly to keep the dog certified, also for free. So given the situation, the scenarios here, we're getting a big point out of this. Not to mention, since we've implemented using the dog approximately 2 months ago, she's already got 15 fines for us, several for other agencies outside of here that are very close. And as I said before, all of those indications outside of our city are still going to affect what happens here. So if anybody asks, we're not paying for the fuel. It's not making any of the maintenance for that vehicle higher than the rest. He's already paying for the majority of stuff for the dog out of his own pocket, which is not done elsewhere. And we got close to $50,000 dog for free. So that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
You know the printer he used to give us at the nuisance once in a while, can you print, get us that?
We have just started up a new form that I think is gonna flow a lot easier, gonna be a lot easier for us to get to you all. It's just, doesn't have all the info in it, but we're plugging it
Yeah,
in.
say that way, if somebody asks, like if I get a call or a message or something, I can whip that out at home and look at it and see
Yep.
if it's being addressed already.
Yep, we can get that to you. Like I said, we're just trying to get everything back filled into it, what we've already got.
Thank you.
Go from there. Any other questions?
Have you got anything yet on your administrative assistant, issue that you brought forth on Kim Beers?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that-
do have paperwork on that, for this evening. Are you wanting that now? Or was that gonna be in the executive?
Do we have to do it in executive?
No.
Let's go, let's do it here.
Okay, so, I'm wanting to request a pay raise for the administrative assistant Kim Beers. She's been with us since last August. She came in under what the administrative assistants were supposed to be getting as a minimum. I would like to ask that we move her up to at least meet that minimum, since she is doing that job for us. Not only is she taking care of everything we need her to take care of at the PD, but whenever she does finally get some free time, she's also offering anytime she can to help out over at City Hall or help with anything they can. I know they have utilized her a few times, so we normally keep her pretty busy, but,
She's been helping me a lot lately through payroll, so it's been a big help.
yeah, she's always willing to help if she's got the free time to do it. She makes time to make sure she's available after hours, to be able to come in and help us after hours when we need. She's always solid. She's very good professionally with the public. She meshes well with the officers. So I would like to ask that we move her from the 18 an hour, the 19.50, which she's currently at. She started at 18, and move her up to 21 an hour. And just for reference, the starting minimum for administrative assistants is 20 an hour. She has been here for roughly a year now.
Yeah, I guess it'd be a year here in just a couple months, yeah.
She's a hard worker.
Yes, she is.
I'll make a motion.
We have a motion on the floor to increase the pay rate from Kim Beers from $19.50 to $21 per hour. We have a second,
I'll second.
please.
Effective date of that?
Does she,
I was gonna say, I spoke with her, she would be okay with that starting on the next period.
Okay, that'd be Monday then.
We have a motion on the floor to increase the pay rate of Kim Beers from $19.50 an hour to $21 per hour. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a motion second on the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. The motion carries.
I appreciate it. Anybody else have any other questions?
Keep up the good work, chief.
Yeah, thank you.
Water department?
Fire.
Hmm?
Fire. Fire. Some people rotted.
I already crossed them off.
Erase.
Fire department?
He's
Somebody
not-
from the fire department?
No.
He just had,
Alex is gonna.
Do you have something for the fire department?
Well, it was Chief's, but as he was handing it to me, they got called out on a fire.
Do it to it.
All this is a permit for them to discharge fireworks, and you need, your signature on it.
I authorize, I make a motion, we authorize mayor to sign the, permit for the, fireworks display.
We have a motion on the floor to authorize the mayor to sign the permit for the discharge of fireworks. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
Sign this. Sign it. Sign it. Sign it.
I know, me too. You know why I crossed that out, don't you? Oh, gosh. Lori, you're special. All right. Here you go, Alex. Have I missed anything else?
Nope, you're good.
Okay, next on the agenda is electric department.
I didn't miss something. I did it on purpose.
We're done, water, George. Come on up, George.
Unless somebody has something for me, I do not have anything.
I did not.
What's next on?
Oh, you want us to take over for you?
What's next on the agenda? Electric?
Yes.
Okay, electric,
Jason ran away.
Nobody.
gas department,
Nope.
street department, airport.
Dell's here.
Everything's going pretty good at the airport. We are down to 3,000 gallons of fuel.
Ooh.
I have, contacted the Woods Flying Service up at Memphis, who we occasionally share a load with to keep our expenses down. He's looking in to see how much he's got, how much he can hold. Right now, we're charging $5 a gallon for the fuel, and the city has $4.30 in it, so you're making 70 cents a gallon on it. The price, Butch Penwell takes care of calling the jobber to get the prices, and he called yesterday, and the price for us was gonna be $4.52. So we prorate the 3,000 that's in there with the 4,000 we would get.
Got it.
And, it comes up to about $4.40 the city'd have in it. So then we would probably go ahead and raise our price up to keep at least 70 cents
Martin?
margin.
Yeah.
Don't know, well, there's a pipeline guy that has started, he's flying a pipeline through this area, and when he's here, he stops and spends the night in the FBO. And he uses a courtesy car, and he left a note on the wall that said this was the most badass courtesy car
What is the courtesy car?
Well, good.
What is it?
Huh?
What is it? A van?
It's a conversion van that
Yeah.
VFW donated to.
Oh, yeah.
So he left us a $20 bill for gas,
Sweet.
and there've been several people use it, and everybody loves it.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a big deal for a small town.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. It's very,
And the
very
more
nice.
people use it, they go, there's a thing called ForeFlight, which pilots use to navigate and also talk about the places they go. And we're getting a lot of good publicity from Monroe City on that, from pilots that all over the United States.
I think you ought to settle a fly-in.
We are, in August, we host the Glen Wiley Pilots Association fly-in.
Cool.
Yeah.
It'll be the third weekend, third Saturday in August. So I don't know if I have to ask permission for us to do that, but, I'll try and get everybody to, let them know what's going on, and I mean, everybody be invited out, and usually that's just till noon or so.
Well, it's good publicity for the airport.
Now, in the past, when I had my sister Bridget and a lot of the people got involved, we had a huge flying out there. We had warplanes out of St. Louis and a hot air balloon and steermen, open cockpit airplanes giving rides, but it was a huge lot of work.
And therein lies the rub. It takes people that've got the time and the passion to do it, and I get it, but boy, I sure enjoyed it when we did.
It winds up being one or two of us that
I know.
are doing it.
I know.
We're starting to get old.
No, yeah. Well, thank you for all that you do, I appreciate it.
There are a couple of cracks in the runway that I would like to be able to ask Kevin if we could put some coal patch in them to smooth them up.
You, do that.
All right, okay, I'm done, thank you.
Thanks, Cal.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, appreciate what you do for us. Anything else, sir? Okay, Mosswood? The pool? It's full of water.
To resolve whatever issues
Hmm?
you intend to meet about meeting with you about something cool. Was that resolved?
Yes, I will expand upon, the president of the board's, comments that he just made to me. We had a couple of issues with, some of our young pool attendants, having some disagreements with not wanting to follow the instructions of the assistant manager, who's also 17 or 18 years old. So Amy asked me to come out and join her to have a discussion about our expectations on each of them in the performance of their jobs, our expectation on their behavior relative to what was acceptable and what wasn't acceptable. And I took the opportunity to remind each one of them they had accepted a position of responsibility, which included the safety of the people who attend the pool and swim there, and yes, I was quite well aware that at times they may feel like, they're running the largest daycare facility in Monroe City, but that's what they signed up for. I encourage them to increase their level of professionalism, to do the jobs that they're being paid to do. And I reminded them that, yes, I understand we're partway through the season. However, that would not prevent us from removing anyone who's not following our required rules of behavior. Even if that meant we got down to only 3, we can only have 15 people at the pool at the time, because they were not going to hold us hostage. And they all seemed to understand the seriousness of the conversation. They seemed to understand that what we were trying to communicate to them. I think they received it well. Although I wish a few of them would have paid a little more attention and looked in our direction when we were talking instead of looking away, but kids are kids, we all know that. So I think we've done what we're supposed to do. We haven't heard any more complaints. If we do, we will do our very best to handle them in a very professional and expedient manner. My report on the pool.
Okay, can we go back to Mossman?
Absolutely.
There's that against the rules. All right. I guess I should just mention real quickly that we are having our 40th anniversary on Sunday. We have at 11 o'clock some of the initial project managers that they're still alive and are going to come. They're going to speak on the inception of the whole thing, and then at 12 we will be doing. No, we have tours at 11, 12 is when the speaker program is, and then at 1, we'll make up teams and go play golf, in a scramble sort of thing for anybody that doesn't know much about golf, but we'd like to invite anybody and everybody to come. We'll have burgers and dogs available, and just come help us celebrate.
How many board members have said they're gonna be there?
Board members? Your board members? 2? Why?
I just need to follow up with Dennis and ask him what I'm supposed to be doing.
You're just supposed to come, I think. I think he has you down speaking.
He does.
I know, I need to understand what I'm supposed to
You're on the paperwork.
Yeah. So maybe you should put that on your list of to-dos tomorrow. Find out what you want
Yeah,
to
maybe I need to give him a call, yes.
Yeah.
And clarify what it is he
Yeah.
wants me to speak to.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
that would be interesting. All right, presentation of, I'm sorry, I'll follow him.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Presentation of bills and approval of payments next on the agenda.
The only question I had was, the R.L. Horner Airport credit card machine repairs was at $7,300. Was that expensive?
That's for the credit card terminal for the airport.
$7,377.
Credit card at the airport, the machine, the circuit board went out of it. They replaced it, they charged you $7,000 for it.
$7,377 is what it's on here.
I don't think that's what you're question. Yeah.
That's crazy. The circuit board went out, they replaced the circuit board. 2 weeks later, it went out again. So I had to go out and physically get fuel for people. Then it turned out that what was wrong was a plug from the screen to the board. How many boards did they charge you for, do you know?
He was looking it up.
He's looking for the invoice.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It says on here too, something I noticed, the Lions Club for pool supplies.
What?
It says City Lions Club pool supplies. 201.97.
Where's that at, Jason?
It just says City Lions Club pool supplies.
Yeah, Amy didn't have a way to get, concessions for the pool, so she went to Kohl's and she used the Lions Club account, and so we're
Yeah, I
reimbursed
don't
the
know.
Lions
I'll
Club.
call
Does she have a way now, I guess, to?
Can I get a copy of that?
Yeah.
That was for
snacks and stuff.
Yeah.
not Chemical.
What do we pay Harold Talbot for, do you know?
That's Trey. Trey Talbert.
And what do we pay him?
Oh, okay, he is an employee here.
Oh.
Evidently back in August, he had requested for all of his insurance benefits, all of that to be stopped,
Stop,
and they never were.
okay.
So, we're reimbursing him for what was taken out of his paycheck, when he should have had coverage.
So did you get is the RO owner then correct?
How many boards did they charge us for? How many boards did they charge for?
I couldn't tell. I'm gonna call him tomorrow and find out. I guess that means I'll eliminate me asking for a $21 raise. I'll call Kevin, Majors, he's the manager at Hangar, and he's gonna give me a copy of that, and I'm gonna have him go over it with me and find out exactly what we got charged for, and,
Excellent, thank you.
I don't see anything else that I have questions on.
Was Tony, you and I dealt with him a lot, was this for repair or
Company.
Where you at?
$4,800?
Tony elevator.
Or 49? For the
That-
elevator?
Was it for
I think
a
for,
certain period, was it for a quarter? or
yeah, I think it was for a quarter, I have them in a different order.
Oh, that's the gentleman that sent me the email because we were in arrears with
Oh.
the
Yes.
contract.
Yeah. that's what it was.
So, we didn't have our elevator inspections?
They inspected it in April. But what we don't have, and I have yet to make a phone call to find out what we have to do, is the operating certificate to operate an elevator in the state of Missouri. There appears to be more than just a few things that we have to correct.
They generally have fairly clear things online for most of that.
Okay.
And, the state of Missouri is really slow right now with that, they haven't since COVID. But they're also, at least for that part of the stuff, they're generally, accommodating and getting you up to speed if things are sort of not done on purpose being wrong.
Yeah, well,
We have to have some of the same things done, and I'll check and see if I can get a little help for that.
okay,
maybe.
I would appreciate it.
It's our-
We certainly have just come across so many opportunities to improve.
Sure. I like that, opportunities.
It's a good way to put
I like that.
Robin McConey was for 2023.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Does the microphone pick that up?
Oh, yeah.
Great.
The Merkel's roll-off service, that's what our total ended up being for our, citywide pickup.
Is that,
Yep.
Where in the heck is
I'm
that?
seeing 2 boards on here,
$39.60.
at
Right here.
$18.90 a piece.
Well, that's less than what I thought it was.
Me too.
Very worthwhile.
How long was he there? Dal,
Excuse me?
how long was he there?
At the air, they've been there 4, 5, 6 times.
No, I mean, how many hours was he there working on it?
I don't know, because I wasn't there the entire time,
Oh, okay.
but, several. What's he showing there?
Well, he's showing between March 22nd and April 18th, 8.5 hours. And then 2 3/4 hours on June 11th. But I see 2 different motherboards on here for $18.90 a piece.
Well, we're gonna call him and talk about that,
Yeah.
because the first one that was installed the second one went bad, it should have been under warranty.
Exactly.
Good point. So we'll hold up on paying that one until we get a response back.
Yeah.
We'll put that in the motion then.
Okay.
They were back out there again today because they had changed the gears in the pump to show the dollar amount on it, and when he left it set on 50 cents a gallon instead of $5, which didn't affect anything except for what was shown on the screen. So I taped over that.
Yeah.
But, they came back today and did that, and that should be on them.
Yeah. Should they replace the actual display?
No, it's a mechanical pump,
Oh, they're charging us for a 7-inch
no, the
display?
display is on, yes, they just replaced the display in the card reader.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a card reader and there's a pump.
Right.
Two different things.
Right.
The pump is from the 1960s.
Yeah.
It's old, and they changed the gears and stuff in there that tally up the gallons and the dollars. And he left it set on 50 cents instead of,
Good
because
thing
in the
about that.
60s, you know, gas was 29.9. So he got a decimal point off.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion to approve the bills as presented, with the exception of the R.L. Horner until resolution is resolved in that payment.
We have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the bills payable with the exception of the payment to, what's the name of that company?
R.L. Horner.
R.L. Horner. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Motion carries. New business? Unfinished business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn, we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.